we're bringing you all you need to succeed in the real estate business. It's Spilling the LTea, brought to you by Lawyers Title, telling you what it's really like to work in real estate.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us. Welcome to our first episode. We've affectionately dubbed this Married to Real Estate. So through a series of questions, I think we're gonna figure out if it's worse to be married to a real estate agent or an attorney. So I'm gonna kick it to you guys to introduce yourselves.
Oh, sure. You wanna go ahead, Sean?
I'm Sean Schulgen. I'm married to Lisa, and I am a broker for Mustang Realty Group.
I am Lisa Schulgen. I work for Lawyers Title, and I am the attorney of the group, of our group, of our pair.
My name is Denton Aguam. I also am a real estate agent here in Dallas for the Dare Network, and I'm married to Brandi.
Hey guys, Brandi Aguam. I'm the Director of Operations, and I'm also an attorney at Lawyers Title. I'm going to kick it over to you guys to talk about, your careers, your kids. Give us a background.
Sure.
Ladies first.
Okay. Well, so I actually started my career after law school practicing law, and traveled quite a bit doing litigation, defense litigation. And when I realized that I could no longer do that once we had kids, I met some people with Lawyers Title, and it seemed like a really good fit for me to be able to have a family and continue working as an attorney. So I've been with Lawyers Title now, gosh, it's been like 10 years. And I have done a few different things throughout the time there, but now I am solely focused on our sales team support, and then I do our education program. So it's nice because I can use my legal background and hopefully help some realtors out as we teach our classes and talk about contracts and legal issues. And
keep your husband on track.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Sean?
So grew up in a real estate family. After attending SMU here in Dallas, I started doing oil and gas, but had a real estate license. This is in the late 90s, and ended up making more money doing a side hustle of doing real estate than working for corporate America. And so 2002, we started Mustang Realty and have been doing it ever since.
Okay, so tell me about Mustang. Are you doing just sales? Are you doing property management? Talk a little bit more.
We are a boutique company, so we don't. I never had a aspiration to have 300 agents and be a broker for 300 agents. I just wanted to keep it small and kind of do my own thing. So we're boutique, but we do sales, leasing, and our primary focus lately has been residential property management and HOA management. We've got several hundred properties we manage, so that takes up a bulk of our time, and yeah, so it's not what we intended to get into, but it's something we have grown, and it's been very successful for us.
Very cool. And when did you guys have your kids?
So our oldest is 10. So we had our first right before I started with Lawyers Title, and then our younger just turned 8.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
So let's talk about you guys. Give us your scoop.
Go first, Brandi.
So I have been with Lawyers Title now going on 7 years. Same thing, Lisa. When I graduated law school, I went into the litigation world, spent a ton of time in the courtroom, got a little burnout on that, decided to come back to Dallas and randomly landed in real estate. Was looking at houses with an agent who is now one of my best friends. And he said, why don't you go work for my title company? I'm like, I don't know anything about real estate. As a matter of fact, I think that was my least favorite class in law school. What am I going to do at a title company, right? And then you just kind of find your way in the industry. And we always say, like, once you get in, you're never getting out.
So true.
Right? And so now it's been 6-7 years with Lawyers and taken on a lot of different roles and just kind of watched the company grow so much over the last few years. So it's been really fun.
And she loves real estate because clearly
She couldn't break away.
She married her real estate.
Right.
I mean, it never lets you go, right? He's super persistent. Whatever you guys train in, it really obviously pays off.
So we're at the end of the day, we're salesmen, right? We want to help people.
I honestly, go ahead. I don't interrupt.
No, go, please.
I always feel like realtors can sell. If you're in sales, you can sell anything, you know, if you're good at what you're selling. So go ahead.
Well, and it's something of importance as well.
Right.
And we're not just going to sell anything, but I know what you mean. So my quick history is graduated from Baylor, got out of school, had no idea what I wanted to do. It's around 2000. We started around the same time. I can't believe I'm saying 20 years now almost.
It's crazy.
friend of mine was a commercial realtor, or sorry, friend's father was a commercial realtor in Austin. Said, go get your license, go do residential in Dallas. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, move to Austin. You can come work for me. 21 or whatever, that sounded like a pretty good plan. Started doing residential, started taking. I was like, okay, I can do this so well that I didn't sell a house in my first 6 months. Figured some things out.
Yeah.
And then now today, fast forward 09, I went from an individual agent, started building a team. My model is just a little different than Sean's. I focus on building a team and mainly residential sales. So we have a large team now here in Dallas and cover the whole DFW Metroplex. That's it in short.
It's funny that you say 20 years in this
I know.
business, because I feel like I look at y'all and I think y'all are so young, but y'all really have been doing this for a long time. And y'all have seen a lot in 20 years. So
Yeah,
it's always interesting. Some of your agents or people joining brokerages haven't been through some of the crashes. Like, this is their market, right? This insanity going on. And we always laugh about it because we're like, just wait a couple of years. Like, it's not quite as easy to sell a house when it's not, you know, crazy like it's been.
Yeah. 20 offers, 2 days.
Yeah, it's wild right now. So we have a 4-year-old, about to be 5 in September. So we're starting to figure out where we're going to put him in school, which is always a fun topic.
And how do you feel? And go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, no, I'm just saying, how do you feel like you were able to? Well, you have another child too, so let's
talk about that one too.
Let's not
forget the COVID baby, right? So we have a 1-year-old that was born in January of last year, so kind of the beginning of the shutdown. My maternity leave was crazy because it was like, we're going to take a couple months off, and then just kidding, COVID hit and everything shut down and everybody's at home, including my 4-year-old who's crazy. So that was a really fun. Both of us working from home.
Right.
Just so you know, Denton talks super loud on the phone. He puts his little headphones in and he yells. And I'm like, shh, shh. I'm like, I'm on the phone too. So both of us working at home with the baby and the 4-year-old was quite the time.
I got relegated upstairs.
He did. He got kicked up to the top
Well, you have
floor of the
to
house.
have your space.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's been fun. It's been wild. You know, having little ones and being in this industry and having all the obligations we obviously have.
Well, that's what I was wondering, especially because y'all's are smaller than ours, not much smaller, but like, how do you juggle it all, having little ones and having full-time careers?
Well, I think we leverage wherever we can.
Yep.
You know, neither one of us like to cook, things like that. I mean, you probably enjoy it more than I do. But we do meal deliveries, we do things like that.
Right.
We've hired personal assistants to do things for us during the week, like take our laundry, go do returns. I mean, minute stuff.
Some of the simple stuff.
Stuff we don't have time to do, so we can spend time with the kids when we get home.
But I think at any rate, whether it's dual careers or individual career, when you start adding things to your life like kids, 2 kids, the amount of time you have to focus towards whatever it is that you want, personal life, hobbies, work, shrinks.
Yeah.
And when it shrinks, when I was individual agent, not married, no kids, I had 12 hours to work. Today, effectively, I've got about 2 to 3 hours because the other 3 hours are with my team. And then after that, I'm kids and then family and husband and then trying to squeeze in anything for us.
Yeah. Which is hard, right? I mean, that's...
So you got to get really, really
super
efficient and effective with the time you do use and make sure you're spending it on the right stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
That honestly, I think is the secret.
Definitely. And we divide and conquer a lot too, you know?
Yeah, you have
we
to.
don't, you know, real estate events. It's like, if it's important, we'll both go and we'll get a sitter, but usually just one of us goes, just depending on what it is. But I will say Denton's like awesome and being the one that like puts our kids down every single night. It gives me some time to go back and get on my computer and get some stuff done that I didn't get done during the day. So we just kind of, you know,
and I think the other thing too is that we've deleted some stuff from our calendar. Like for me, some of the stuff that I used to do in the past, those events aren't necessarily as important as they are now. I'm sorry, as they were then, as they are now.
Right, right.
Right, so I don't need to go to those anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, basically when you have kids, like your whole life is about your kids, right? So we get up every Saturday morning and take these kids to swim at 8 a.m. And my friends are like, every Saturday? I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's good for them. It's what they like to do. It's, you know, your focus just shifts.
The next step is an Oculus.
Apparently. Tell us about this Oculus. I want to know.
It's like it literally is a whole nother world. I walked in the other day and my kids have these things on and you can't.
Are they cutting the block?
Well, I have no idea what they're doing. They see what they're doing, but it's really actually funnier to watch as a parent, watching them maneuver through these worlds. But
it's our modern day babysitter, right? Because we were just talking before, like, what do you do with your kids during the summer? And you said we get an Oculus.
I mean, it's a total juggling act. Fortunately, I think, Sean has had a lot of flexibility through his career. I have gained flexibility with lawyer's title. I mean, before practicing law, I mean, I had no flexibility, but fortunately, we have a nice bit of flexibility. And my thought is, you get your job done, whether it's at 10 in the morning or 10 at night, luckily we're flexible and we can get our job done almost any time of day. But as long as you get your job done, then.
Yeah. I mean, we're essentially available 24 hours a day, right? We have calls from agents, whether it's starting at 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. On the weekends, we're talking on the phone, trying to help you guys get deals done. Whether you listen to us or not is always a toss up. But I think that that's the beauty of our company is that, they've allowed us to have that flexibility, and they're really big on work-life balance.
Right.
And, we have a young company. We have a lot of people having babies. I was just in our Frisco location and feel like we got all these maternity leaves coming. But I think we do a good job of accommodating that and really making sure it's a priority for the women in our company and the men. We've had some guys take off for some paternity leave also. So
I agree.
That's
So
fun.
should we spill some tea?
Oh my gosh. Well, first let's talk about this spilling the
does this
tea.
mean?
So we're clearly too old to be having this as our podcast name, right? Because nobody knew what it meant. One of our sales reps actually picked it. What do you guys think spilling the tea means? Sean, what do you think it means?
Well, you told me what it means.
But what did you think
after
before?
I thought it was a play on words, but I thought it was just, I don't know. Well, I thought since in celebration of the 4th of July weekend, I thought it was something to do with the Boston Tea Party. But that shows you how old I am. I'm going back to 1776 or whatever year that was, the Boston Tea Party. But yeah, so I mean, that's how out of touch I am. I was thinking it was something colonial.
That's so funny, right? Like we have this really funny meme as our name and none of us actually do.
But I think our goal is to talk about all things realtor life, things that can help our business, maybe resources that we've never thought about. So we're gonna spill some tea.
Let's go.
We're gonna have some fun interactions. You want to talk about these general topics, or do you want to go into like the fun stuff? Okay, cool. So, what's one thing you wish you had known when you began your career?
I didn't know when I first started that I'd be making a career out of this. I mean, honestly, I definitely did not know that we would be hitting cycles like we hit with the recession. And I mean, we go back when I first started, we didn't have cell phones. Or we did, but they were plugged into your car. So if you wanted to get a hold of somebody, I mean, you didn't have to be accountable 24/7, which I think that is a blessing and a curse in disguise because everybody feels like they need it right now and they can get a hold of you. And then, but I mean, the amount of text messages and phone calls and voicemails and emails that I get per day are just sometimes overwhelming. And sometimes you just got to take a breath. And I think that is something that as you kind of matriculate through any career, you learn how to save time. And if you want to spend it with your family, I mean, where, years ago, we probably would have gone to the golf course for 4 hours. These days, I don't play golf. I was terrible at it anyways. So this is probably a good thing.
You retired from golf.
But I did retire from golf. And so, it's one of those things that, but I just think that if I would have known how innovative things would have become that, with everything, the advent or obviously progression of the internet, most of the clients can instantaneous look up stuff and call me and say, hey, look, I see this house that's available over here. And unfortunately, in the last year, that house that just came on the market that day probably already has 20 offers on it. Right. But that being said, it's kind of also like trying to find properties. We had to look up what's called a MapSco, which was like an old map, and make sure that you found your way. We didn't have navigation in our cars. So
yeah, you used to have to print off your way you were going to go. Like, here's our first house, here's our map here, and here,
Yeah.
Did you have to pick up keys at brokerages too? I've heard that. I mean, I don't know if that, you probably were younger than that.
No,
We're not that old.
You're not that old? It's not
no, but I mean, I've heard, so if there was ever an option on, can you go get it out of a lockbox or an agent to meet and go pick it up at the office, you usually just didn't show that unit. It's just too much trouble to go buy somebody else's.
Such a guy.
If you're too lazy to go meet me at the,
Forget it. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. What about you, Denton? What's one thing you wish you would have known?
There's so many, but I would probably obviously echo everything you just said. But specifically for me, just understanding the how to run a business. I got into it just to sell a house and thought that's what I was doing, not knowing that I was getting into actually how to build a business. And I didn't have any business acumen prior to this. My parents were in the medical field, nurse and doctor. Baylor, I just got a general degree in business. It didn't really prepare me on how to run a business.
Yeah.
So I would say that would probably be the one thing I really would have wished I would have jumped in earlier in my career on how to run a business.
Yeah. Well, and I think you bring up a really good point, because I feel like, you know, we all go to school and we focus on a certain area. And I think at least our goal was always to be more entrepreneurial in spirit, you know, but you don't learn that in school.
No.
I mean, it's all on the job training.
Yes.
And I mean, for you too, you've had a progression of how you kind of have built what you've built. But I mean, even with your property management, it used to be all Excel spreadsheets, you know, and then investing in some technology to grow. But you don't learn any of that stuff when you're in school.
No, it's trial by fire, essentially. Or there are a handful of people you can go that have been ahead of you that will help you out a little bit. But at the end of the day, and in general, real estate, as far as the real estate agent brokerage side, has always been quite behind in technology to begin with, right, in comparison to other industries. So we had that going against us.
Okay, so you said trial by fire.
Yeah.
What is like one fire? What's one mistake or failure that you had that you feel like, oh God, had, you know, really learned from that situation?
How long is the show?
Yeah, I know. Same, but
you know, because I would say normally top producing agents move really fast. And when you move really fast, you don't dot I's and cross T's. And there's multiple times where I just kind of, for lack of a better term, flew by the seat of my pants, and it cost me. I mean, I can get into details where it cost me money. I had to pay somebody's earnest, had to pay somebody's option. Oh my gosh, I forgot this.
Right.
Okay, yes, I know. Here's a fridge. Just little things like that.
Yeah.
Right. You move really fast, and understanding, and this goes back to the business acumen. To run a true business, you need certain people running certain parts of the business, operations, lead generation, the sales team, etc. Because you'll spread yourself too thin if you don't.
Yeah.
Right. So many mistakes in there, but at the end of the day, just not really paying attention to dotting the I's and crossing the T's.
How's your attorney wife feel about you not dotting your I's and crossing your T's?
I will say, the 5 years we've been married, he's gotten a lot better.
I've gotten better. But that's because I'm not in full-blown sales right now.
No, I think he's done a really good job of hiring the right people. You know, when we talk about...
That too, 100%.
We talk about selling real estate and being an attorney and all these important things, but I think like managing people and being, it's a people business, and like that really seriously is the core of what we do. And I don't think college teaches you that at all.
Right.
Like that's definitely on the job training.
A whole new skill set.
How to communicate and get, people motivated and continue to motivate them, especially in this kind of market. I know we all struggle with that in our companies, is everybody is just burning out, right? Because we're just doing so much business every month. And I mean, we're so thankful for that, right? But like, we're not seeing kind of a light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
Or at least we're not, I know. So I think that's huge. I think you've hired the right people, which is
100%.
Great. That delegating is always good.
Yeah.
If it's not something you're strong at.
What about you? Mistakes?
Mistakes are going to be made, and I'm still making those today. I think that we had talked about that question before the show, and my biggest thing was that I grew up in a small town where if you shook somebody's hand and looked them in the eye kind of scenario, which as a lawyer, that's as bad as not crossing your I's or dotting your T's.
That's right.
It is one of those things that I have paid out of my pocket for, like, homeowners associations we managed for their insurance. And then they had some kind of dispute or something like that, and I risked not getting paid back. And that would be something as a younger agent getting in the business, or somebody trying to grow their new group or whatever, is that you got to have stuff in writing. I mean, I'm at a point now where we're successful enough, thank God, that I can weather the storm. I'm not going to go take on $100,000 in debt for somebody without some kind of contract, but $5,000 here or something to that effect, which would be earnest money or somebody's insurance policy for the year. And if I risk not getting paid back because I don't have it in writing, that's my fault. And I think that is a mistake that I still deal with that I'm trusting, and that the fact that if, again, but if I shake somebody's hand, it gets done whether I make a mistake or not. And unfortunately, people out there just aren't like that. And so people that promise you the world or don't promise you the world, and you just take it upon yourself to do the right thing, and you risk getting burned. So I think that would be the one thing that I would change, or that I regret, is that I have that mentality, and it still is hard for me to work through sometimes.
Well, and I think like you said, you grew up with family in real estate, and they closed deals on a handshake.
Yep.
And so that's what you grew up watching.
Right.
And so ideally you would want everyone to act that way, but they don't.
Sure.
Yeah.
As attorneys, we're like, put everything in writing.
Everything in writing. I
Put
know.
it in emails. If you get off the phone, follow up with an email going over your conversation, because you will get sued.
Even having it in writing doesn't mean that people aren't going to renege on doing stuff. And then you have to get the attorneys involved, which I've never been in a lawsuit, so I can't. I'm giving you hypotheticals, but at the same time, you just got to you surround yourself with good people, and and just like you said, get it in writing.
Yeah, for sure. So, Sean, what advice would you give someone wanting to pursue a career similar to yours?
Akin to what Denton said when he first started out, was it 6 months before you had closed your first deal, is that it's not going to happen overnight. It's going, and the two things I would say, everybody and their cousin, you find that when the real estate's good, like right now, the population of realtors, the head count goes up huge. And then when we hit the recession, I remember it went down to hardly anybody. So you've got to be able to weather the storm, and the fact that it's not going to happen overnight. And even if you hit a couple of deals really early, you still got to wait for those deals to close, or the leases to, the people to move in. So, if you're going from a steady paycheck where you get paid every month or every 2 weeks, you're going to have to prepare for, months and sometimes years to build your book of business where you can make a steady paycheck. So, that's why I said it was a side hustle when I first started, and I was working for corporate America doing oil and gas. And on the weekends, the thing is, I was making more on the weekends finding people leases and selling a couple of my younger friends' houses than I was working in corporate America with a graduate degree. And so I said, hey, look, you know what? I want to try to do this, which my dad, who was in real estate forever, thought was a really bad idea. He's like, why would you leave healthcare and 401k and a job?
Happy.
And I had a great job. Don't get me wrong. It's just one of those things that I think it was the entrepreneurial spirit that Lisa talked about that I just wanted to try it. And again, I probably would have had a fallback that I could have gone back into oil and gas. When I left oil and gas, it was just we just had September 11th. So gas went from, $12 a barrel to $100 a barrel. So that industry took off. And, me having that epiphany, real estate was not doing well. So,
right.
I got into it at the wrong time in the early 2000s. But that being said, it's been a blessing. But yes, just be able to know that you're going to lose deals to people that have friends or family. You thought that they were your good friends or your good clients, but they feel sorry for people. I've had people tell me that we've got to give it to our cousin or our niece who just got in the real estate business, a listing, when they've been loyal clients for years, just because she's not making any money and they feel bad for her. Well, there's a reason why she's not making any money. She's either really new or she's terrible at it. And I'm not saying that's not okay. It's just one of those things. Don't ever expect that you're going to be getting that business. So
I think Sean used to really early on, Sean used to get his feelings hurt because he would have friends that you just assume, of course, you're going to use me to buy and sell your house. I'm your friend, But everybody has someone they know who's a realtor. And so it's like they're always fighting for business. So I think that was kind of hard for you to first realize that, okay, you actually have to go out and maybe prospect beyond the scope of just your friends.
Right.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I'll completely echo everything he just said. But when you first get in, I would say training. You got to get trained.
Sure.
Just go in and get training. Second.
But do you feel like that's classroom training? I think it's real world.
So
a lot of
if we
times
dive super into it,
right?
The best way would be kind of a mentor live action training.
That's a great idea.
Right. But that's not available to everybody.
I understand. That is true.
But at any rate, training, I'm not saying go to YouTube and just watch training videos, but if that's all you can do that at minimum. But find a company, find a group. There's plenty of outside companies that do training for not only just real estate, but many sales type companies. Do that. The investment is in yourself.
Sure.
You got to do that. And then the one thing I failed at is start becoming systematic on how you do your business. As much as I like to just run, it gets tiring eventually when you're like, gosh, I got to do this all over again, right? Whenever you could have had to put a simple system in place, and it would increase what I talked about earlier, your efficiency of just getting something done. Right. So just kind of put some systems in place. And then back to kind of what you said, Sean, at first, you got to surround yourself with the right people, right? There's a lot of people doing business, what I consider not my personal way of doing it, and also not the best way of doing it, right? I know there's a lot of people that take advantage of other people, and I just think you got to surround yourself with the right person, right mentor, right company, right? That's big or small, it doesn't matter.
Lisa, talk about being married to an entrepreneur.
Okay, where do we start?
We'll start with business. Don't talk about me personally. Stick to don't talk about my flaws.
Right. So being married to someone who is a business owner, I think has a lot of benefits, especially having young kids. The phone, I love it, but it's a curse. Mm-hmm. Because, your kids don't understand that when you're here looking at your phone and you're actually working, they're like, look at me, I'm here, look at me. So I do love the fact that, you can put it away and you can focus on your kids. And he doesn't have a boss that he has to answer to. If I'm like, Sean, I have this meeting, I have to do this, can you take the kids here? He can, because he's his own boss. He can call the shots. I think what is scary is that he can call the shots and he's responsible for his success or failure. And other people that work for him, he's responsible for giving out their paychecks as well. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of pressure. But I think the overall benefit is so much better than the negatives of it.
The upside.
Yeah. And I think, part of you're able to do it because you grew up with a family that was entrepreneurial. You saw how they did it. And I think it's been a good struggle. It's been a positive struggle.
For sure. Well, you guys are setting yourself up for success, which is great. That's the hard part, because it's like there's such an upside to it, but being the spouse, like we see how hard they work to get where they're going. And I don't think sometimes that's always appreciated or known. And then you kind of see like the struggle that they go through every day when they're coming home and they're stressed out. And also our phones are ringing, right? Because we're kind of a 24-hour attorney line for the company as well. And so, being able to understand that. But I think that's the beauty of us both being in the industry. Like we laugh about it, but we're also talking about real estate all day, every day, right? Even at night, we're talking questions in the market. And I can understand a lot that he does on a daily basis because I am in the industry. And I feel like we're both kind of, I guess, more lenient about the phone ringing on the weekends and stuff, just because we're in it as well. So
right.
But I think that success is also built from a mentality that you don't quit. You figure it out. I mean, nobody's going to feel sorry for you if you lose a deal or things aren't going well. You have to figure it out as an entrepreneur or a leader of a team or a broker, whatever it is. And quitting is not an option. I mean, and in our case, changing careers at this juncture in our lives may not be an option. So it's one of those things that, you gotta figure it out on your own. So.
Yeah.
So tell me, where do you guys see yourself in 10 years?
Hopefully together.
That's right. That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
We can read each other. No. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I still see honestly, I'll be in my mid 50s, so I've still got a couple years left in me. But
I have more than that.
I know, but
I always joke with Sean. I'm like, Sean, I don't care what age you are. Like, you're never going to retire. Like, you're just not. Sorry.
But I think that we're going to have to scale it back for the amount of time and effort. And
I think that would be your goal.
And stress level. It's just, it's not good for anybody to go through. I mean, I am especially with the property management and having to be accountable for 800 something different, doors as far as HOAs and stuff like that. is that I'm a constant complaint desk. I always refer to Best Buy as when you try to take something back that, you know, maybe unpackaged and open and they tell you no, you're the worst person in the world. But when you say yes, oh, you're the greatest guy in the world. So, you know, I got to be on many cases. I try to do my best to be a yes man, but at the same time, it's just, you can't, there's a fuller scope of like, you know, running properties and selling real estate and stuff like that, that you've got to tell people no sometimes. So you got to man up sometimes and tell people no. But 10 years, I still see it. I would say it's going to be in a capacity if somebody else is probably going to be running it, and I'll just be in a capacity to oversee that. So.
And your kids will be getting to the age where you're going to be empty nester. They're starting there.
They'll be in college, both of them.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, God. God
they may still be living at home. Who knows?
That's all right.
Our younger one may be running his own podcast.
Just have to keep, build a guest house or something.
Right. No, we will. Gosh, at that point, we will have
both of them in college, hopefully.
Yeah.
Wow.
What about you guys? 10 years.
No, you go ahead. I'm interested to hear this answer, actually.
Well, I think it's still running. My organization is just expanded into multiple different markets. You know, I do understand completely the stress from the day to day, and I think that's the biggest thing about managing and leading people. Is one of my mentors, Gary Keller, said you can have as many businesses as you want, you can own as many businesses you want, as long as you have the right person running it.
Yeah.
Right. The model itself, right? We all know there's great models. Let's take restaurants. Right. We all know that a McDonald's or Chick-fil-A works, right? I mean, there's thousands of proofs that it worked. But if you put a bad person in that system, they can easily run down a simple, not simple, but easy model system for running a restaurant, right? So for me, I think it's just getting in relationship with even more and more people over the next 10 years to either do some type of business with them or expand out the company business with them.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. The goal eventually is to have an organization that helps thousands of families a year buy, sell, or invest in real estate. Right. So.
And continue our investing. We also do that as well.
Yeah. I mean, personally, for sure. I made a joke. Not a joke. I just said I would love to own 1,000 doors.
Yeah.
He can manage them all.
You can manage them all. This is a perfect relationship. We'll build our portfolio. We'll hand them over to you.
That sounds like a lot of work. No, I'm joking. No,
we can work out a way to manage it together. How about that?
Happy, absolutely.
We would bring on a consultant. Like, hey, we need your help.
Yeah.
No, I think, for us, building wealth is huge. Not just for us, but for our kids. Being able to spend more time with them in the future and travel and, just be there because ours will be, 14 and 11. So we're right in the thick of things,
right.
Playing sports and...
Yeah, we're reading a book right now that we don't have to dive too much in it, but it's a book written by Tom Wheelwright called Tax-Free Wealth.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Super important.
I was able to get some time with him directly and also some time in the future where we can do a lot of Q&A. Just ask him some questions about it.
Which we will be having topics on our podcast about that, building wealth, tax-free, tax benefits for agents, things like that. And for me personally, doing more charitable work. I have a nonprofit that we started a couple years ago that benefits foster kids, children in the foster system. So focusing more on that as well. And I'm sure we'll still be working at Lawyers.
Right.
So
once you're in, you're in.
Yeah.
For a passion project, I like to own my own gun range.
Well, let's talk about that. So what do you guys do for fun outside of your kids' activities?
What do you do?
You don't golf. So what do you do?
So I'm still semi-active. So I played football. So I had my in college, and I'm still banged up from that. That just speaks to how slow I was on the football field. I got hit a lot. So, so I had my first hip surgery last year and had it replaced. I've got to have another one this year. So my days of sports are coming to an end. I still try to play tennis recreationally. That's kind of my one outlet for sports or walking, which is super fun. But I do like philanthropically because I don't get paid. I have a setup that we did for my tailgate for the football games, and we do like free music for events for the kids, like little DJ stuff. And
I was waiting for DJ Sean to come out. I've been waiting on this to happen. Yeah,
it's definitely. I've had a ton of people asked if I could play their kids' birthday parties.
Nice.
And
there you go.
I always wonder if they think that, like, God, man, he's really struggling financially to he's out there DJing parties. But no, you know what? It was one of those things, and it's a pain in the rear to set up. And honestly, I've had to spend more money because I have to find trailers to house all this stuff. But long story short, it is it's I love music to begin with.
He's always loved music.
I don't have a lick of music ability to play it, but as far as instruments or singing, that's out of the
No, but if he could like pick any job out of the world and just do that all day, every day, you would be a DJ.
I think that it would get old after playing somebody's bar mitzvah or like 60th birthday. Hear the Beach Boys for the 50th time. Nobody wants to hear that. So I think you would be, I think it's fun because I do it once every quarter, or, once a month maybe. But like 4th of July, we're doing somebody's parade, and it's for the Lakewood community of Dallas. And so we did it for a dad's group last week. We had a cornhole tournament, and then before that, we had a kid with cancer that was having a party and stuff like that. So again, it is that's my thing I like to do is music.
Passion
my
project.
But no,
it's not a hustle. It's a hustle, but it's not. Yeah,
it's a free hustle.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
No, what about you?
Well,
you didn't even tell us what you like to do.
I honestly, if I have an hour of time during the day, I do yoga. Like that is my.
Nice. Picking up tennis.
I do. I'm trying to pick up tennis.
Yeah, it's okay.
But I really do enjoy yoga. Like that is my mental relaxation. I feel good about myself when I walk out. So I try to do that. That's kind of my thing.
Your jam.
Yeah. What about you guys?
Well, we have lots of hobbies. I feel like now.
The
we used to have a lot more time for hobbies. Traveling.
We travel a lot, and it's usually a very active vacation. Like
Denton never lets me relax. We either
Snowboarding.
snowboard, we golf, we go the whole time we're on vacation. Never take a beach trip with this guy. Because you'll get up day 2 and he's like, what are we going to do today? I'm like, I'm going to lay by that pool again, by that swim up bar.
We're loungers.
And he's like, no, we're not. We're going golfing. We're going ziplining. What are we going to do? Do you want to learn how to surf? I'm like,
I struggle sitting still for longer than 30 minutes.
That's okay.
So we're coming up on the timeline now.
We're getting close.
Most recently, we've taken up shooting.
Yep.
We're pretty into guns, so that's fun.
And even want to maybe take it like just some competition type shooting.
Yeah,
right.
Oh, that's awesome.
So if Denton could have one job, it would be to be John Wick.
How do you know I'm not?
I've seen the rifle performance.
Yeah. Thanks.
So
no, we like doing. I think from a very simple standpoint, anything that kind of gets our competitive juices going.
Yeah.
Sports wise or anything like that, we really enjoy.
Yeah, that's great.
Like Sean, we have a.
Yeah. Sean's athlete. I played baseball in college.
We've retired from co-ed softball because he can't keep his shoulder in socket anymore. So we've had to pick other things. But
it's not fun.
Yeah.
Getting old. Yeah.
Do you want to play the who is it game?
Who is it?
Okay, so we're going to take turns asking questions, and you just point to the spouse that you think it applies to. Okay, you start, Lisa.
Who spends a longer amount of time getting ready for a night out?
Whatever.
Are you pointing or no?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Fake news. That's not true. Who's more likely to make the bedroom floor their personal laundry basket? Not true.
No.
Dude, we'd be killing it on the dating game right now.
Yeah, you definitely would.
We're 0 for 2.
Who's more likely to leave dishes in the sink? Easy.
For sure, me. I don't like it. Who do you trust more behind the wheel? Don't you dare point at yourself.
Okay.
Let's look at cars. That is the
Thank you. This one's totaled
cars.
2 vehicles since we've been together, and our son calls them out. So when we pick Nash up from daycare, he'll be like, Mom, today someone honked at Dad on the tollway. I'm like, what did Dad do? He's like, I'm like, Denton.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, where are we?
Who takes up more than half of the bed?
You, for sure.
Yeah, I kind of disagree. She unknowingly likes to spread out, and then she gets all upset.
Who takes the longest showers?
That's me.
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty fast. Who walks the dog or takes care of the pets?
Ooh, you take care of the pets, but
But
I
you
walk
walk
Kind
them.
of 50-50.
Yeah. I don't know. We have
50-50
one for that.
for us, too.
Who is more of a clean freak? Neither one of
Like
us are clean.
my car,
50-50.
the house.
Yeah.
The car.
Yeah.
Oh, the car.
I have more
That's
stuff
for sure.
clean technically, but yeah. We're not
That's where Lisa
clean.
throws her.
We're
all
not.
her
We're not
stuff.
neat by any means over here.
Who snores the loudest?
No, that's easy.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Oh, you snore like a man.
He says I snore, but
But we got English bulldogs, so she's
now
covered.
they snore the loudest.
Oh,
And
man.
they sleep in the.
Who spends more time on social media?
Yeah, I think you do.
You think?
Yeah.
I mean, all you see is you watching videos on your phone all the time. I guess that's not, maybe that's YouTube. I feel like that's social
I mean, that's
media.
technically social media too, but.
Who exercises the most?
Probably you.
Yeah, for sure. Who replaces the toilet paper roll?
Why
Also
are you rolling
me.
your eyes?
Wait a minute.
Well, I mean,
It runs out?
Yeah,
This magic fairy just
Right.
replaces it every time,
Right.
right?
Right.
not true. There's been a couple times you forgot to, and that's been a
A
issue.
couple times in our 20 years of
Because I don't
knowing
look what I
each
guess.
other.
I expected the toilet paper fairy.
I thought it's like the
there,
pizza
and
box.
then you realize after you've gone to the bathroom that
It's like the
that's not
pizza
a good
box,
time to
right?
check.
Right.
It disappears.
Just
All
a-
right,
just a-
we got
just
a
a-
couple
yeah.
more. We got a couple more. Okay, who has the better playlist?
I'm going to say Sean out of everyone
Yeah,
that's
here.
right.
We'll just
Yeah.
point at him.
Okay, let me ask this one too. This applies to y'all. Who is a better shot?
Ooh.
Depends on what you're shooting. Pistol?
Also true. Pistol. So like close range, he's your guy.
I gotta say, I
There's,
took
like-
Lisa hunting when we first started dating, and she shot a deer and it went down. So she's like 1 for 1.
Hey!
Yeah, she's like never again. It got up and ran off. So I don't know where
But
she
still
hit
you
it.
hit it.
She totally did, or
just
scared it,
injured
really
it, I
bad,
think
whatever
it
it was. But
I mean,
but
I feel
she's-
like we're probably better rifle shots. 'Cause
Long
it's like,
rifle.
Yeah.
She can keep more steady and still.
Like if there's a zombie apocalypse, you need someone to sit on your roof. Like I'm your girl.
Okay, and for you competitive people,
Yes.
Oh,
who's a better athlete?
oh, you're gonna lie. Even your friends say that's not true. You're a better baseball player, overall athlete.
You're a better overall athlete.
Oh, well, there you
we
go.
See,
There you go. Well, I think we're out of
Yeah.
time. I feel like we could have talked to you guys for a long time.
subscribe.
Yeah.
yeah. So check us out. Subscribe, like, share this. We're gonna have some really cool topics coming up. So we appreciate you watching.
Absolutely.
And
Tell us
we'll-
who your favorite person was.
Right. Yeah. Can you comment below? Is that a thing?
yeah. Comment below your favorite person of the show.
My kid's saying that.
Comment
below.
And send us some feedback. Send us some topics you'd like us to cover. We're always open to that. You can connect with us on Facebook.
How can we find you guys if anyone wants to find you guys?
Yeah. My website is darexp.com. And then, I mean, if anybody wants to call, 214-718-3854. And
Give me the cell phone number.
Yeah.
MustangRealty.com.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Google you?
you can Google. You can try to.
Google me. DJ Sean.
You might not like what you find on there.
Right. Well, this has been fun. I'm so glad we got to sit down and talk to you guys.
thanks for having us.
Is it so? What's the answer to our question? Is it worse to be married to an attorney or a real estate broker?
What do you think?
And what you say, Sean?
I said it depends on what she looks like.
Oh.
And I
And
think
that's
we're
a wrap.
done.